Inside, Adaku asked, "Mr. Okafor, do you know everything that's happening here?" Emeka looked nervous. "There are stories of strange things. Just silly old tales, I think. Nothing that can't be explained by nature or people being scared together." Adaku leaned close, speaking quietly but strongly. "I saw a woman pulled underwater by something not normal. Your company woke up something old and angry. Money won't fix this." Emeka looked scared now. What are you saying?" "The truth," Adaku said firmly. "What does the company know about these waters? What did they find when they started drilling?" Emeka looked worried and glanced at Mama Diya. The old woman's steady look made him more nervous. Finally, he sighed, giving up. "There were strange things in the ground tests," he said. "Shapes deep underground that didn't look normal. And the water, it was weird in ways we couldn't explain, but we thought we could make too much money to ignore it." Mama Diya spat on the ground. "Ptua! Greed blinds you to the consequences of your actions." Adaku's thoughts raced. "We need to stop the drilling, right now." Emeka shook his head. "Impossible. The company has spent too much money here. They'll never agree to..." His words were cut off by a scary scream from outside. All three ran to the window to see people running away, scared as a huge, snake-like shape rose from the river far away. "It's her," Mama Diya whispered. "The Mami Wata is coming." Adaku turned to Emeka, her eyes angry. "Still think this is superstitious nonsense?" The man's face had gone very pale. What do we do?" Adaku took a deep breath, getting ready for what was coming. "We give the Mami Wata what she wants. We must make things right again." As the creature's scary cry echoed across the village, Adaku knew that it was time to stop pretending. She would have to believe in the old ways she had ignored for a long time if she wanted to save her family's home, and maybe the whole world, from an ancient evil woken up by human greed. As everything went crazy outside, Adaku's mind raced. She turned to her grandmother, looking desperate. "Mama Diya, you talked about a special ritual. What do we need to do?" The old woman's face looked very serious. "It needs someone brave to give themselves up, child. Someone with a pure heart and strong spirit to go into the Mami Wata's world and talk for our people." Emeka, who had been staring out the window in shock, turned around quickly. "Give themselves up? You can't be serious. This is crazy." Adaku made him be quiet with an angry look. "Mr. Okafor, your company's actions have brought us here. The least you can do is shut up and listen." Mama Diya went on, her voice sounding like she was singing a special song. "The chosen one must enter the river at midnight when the moon is full. They must bring offerings of our purest palm oil, cola nuts blessed by the elders, and..." She hesitated, looking at Adaku meaningfully. "A drop of blood from one who carries the old bloodline." Adaku's heart sank as she understood. "You mean me, don't you? Because of my father?" Mama Diya nodded seriously. "Your father's family has looked after the river for many years. It's in your blood whether you want it or not." A loud crash from outside made them all jump. Adaku looked out to see trees being pulled up as the huge shape of the Mami Wata moved closer to the village. "We don't have much time," she said, standing up straight. "I'll do it. I'll do the special ritual." "Adaku, no!" Mama Diya protested. "It's too dangerous. We can find another way." But Adaku had made up her mind. "There is no other way, Mama Diya. You said it yourself. I have the family blood. And as a lawyer, I'm trained to negotiate. It has to be me." Emeka, who had been very quiet, suddenly spoke up. I want to help. This is partly my fault after all." Adaku looked at him, not sure if she believed him. "Why do you suddenly want to help?" The man's eyes looked scared. "I've seen things today that I can't explain. If there's even a small chance this ceremony could work, I need to be a part of it, to make things right." Mama Diya looked at him for a moment before nodding. "Okay, we will need all the help we can get. Come, we must get ready." The next few hours went by very fast. Mama Diya sent people to get the things they needed for the ceremony, while Adaku and Emeka helped organize the villagers. The young and sick people were sent to hide in the hills, while the strong people got ready with simple weapons. As the sun started to go down, making the village look red and scary, Adaku found herself standing by the river. The water moved angrily, and sometimes they could see flashes of scales or sharp teeth under the water. Mama Diya came over, carrying a small clay pot. "It's time, my child. Are you ready?" Adaku took a deep breath, trying to be brave. "As ready as I'll ever be." The old woman began to put special drawings on Adaku's skin, using a mix of chalk and plants. As she worked, she said old magic words very quietly, her voice hard to hear over the loud river. Nearby, Emeka walked back and forth nervously, holding some kola nuts. He looked very different now. He didn't look like a fancy businessman anymore, but like someone who had gotten much older in just one day. As the last bit of sunlight went away, Mama Diya stepped back to look at her work. Adaku's body was now covered in swirly designs, each one meant to protect her. "Remember," Mama Diya said urgently, "you must not let the Mami Wata's song make you sleepy. Focus on what you need to do, on making things right again." Adaku nodded, feeling too scared to speak. She turned to face the angry river, very aware of the villagers behind her, all hoping she could save them. Slowly, deliberately, she began to wade into the water. The cold hit her like a physical blow, stealing her breath. But she pressed on, the mysterious symbols on her skin beginning to glow faintly. When she was waist deep, Adaku heard it, the haunting melody that had lured Emeka to her doom. It pulled at her, urging her to surrender to its beauty. But Adaku gritted her teeth, focusing on the faces of those she aimed to protect. Suddenly, the water around her exploded. A massive form rose before her, scales glittering in the moonlight. The Mami Wata's face was a terrible mixture of beauty and monstrosity, its black eyes fixed on Adaku with predatory intensity. "I seek audience with the spirit of the river," Adaku called out, her voice steadier than she felt. "I come to negotiate on behalf of my people and to restore the balance that was broken." The Mami Wata's mouth opened, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. But instead of attacking, it spoke, its voice a discordant mixture of tones that made Adaku's head spin. "Why should I listen to you, child of men?" the creature hissed. "Your kind has poisoned my waters and slaughtered my children. Your lives are forfeit." Adaku swallowed hard, knowing her next words could mean the difference between salvation and doom for her village. "Great Spirit, we acknowledge the wrongs that have been done. I offer myself as a bridge between your world and ours, to make amends and forge a new path forward." The Mami Wata's eyes narrowed, a flicker of curiosity replacing the rage. "Intriguing. You are either very brave or very foolish, little one. Very well, I will hear your proposal. But be warned, if your words do not satisfy me, I will devour you and everyone you hold dear." With that ominous proclamation, the water around Adaku began to swirl. She felt herself being pulled under, deeper and deeper into the Mami Wata's realm. As the surface world faded from view, Adaku sent up a silent prayer, hoping that her skills would be enough to save her people from the wrath of an ancient, awakened evil. Adaku felt herself sinking deeper into the murky waters, yet strangely, she found she could breathe. The river around her shimmered with an ethereal blue light, illuminating a vast underwater realm she never could have imagined. Massive structures loomed in the distance, their architecture unlike anything Adaku had ever seen. Fish with bioluminescent scales darted past, and plants that seemed more animal than vegetable swayed in invisible currents. The Mami Wata's voice resonated through the water. "Welcome to my domain, child of two worlds. Few mortals have laid eyes upon these wonders and lived to tell the tale." Adaku struggled to focus, the otherworldly beauty of her surroundings threatening to overwhelm her senses. "Great Spirit," she began, her voice sounding strange in this aquatic environment. "I come seeking a resolution to the conflict between our peoples." The Mami Wata circled her, its serpentine lower body undulating gracefully. "And what makes you think you can succeed where others have failed? Your kind has broken every promise, defiled every sacred covenant." Adaku took a deep breath, centering herself. I offer a new perspective. I have lived in both the world of tradition and the world of progress. I believe there is a way to honor the old ways while embracing the new. The spirit's eyes narrowed. Pretty words, but words are wind. What assurances can you offer? Action, Adaku said firmly. I propose a binding agreement, enforced not just by human law, but by the ancient magics of this land. The oil company will cease all operations and begin a full cleanup of the river and surrounding lands. The Mami Wata's laughter was like the crash of waves against rocks. And you think your human laws can bind me? I am older than your civilization, child. Adaku stood her ground. Not human laws alone, no, but a pact sealed with blood and spirit. That has power even you must respect. This seemed to give the Mami Wata pause. Intriguing. And what would you offer as collateral for this pact? Adaku's heart raced, knowing her next words could doom her. Myself. I offer to become a bridgekeeper between our worlds. Each year, I will return to your realm to renew the pact and ensure its terms are being met. The water around them began to churn as the Mami Wata considered her words. A bold offer, little one, but what of the lives already lost? The balance demands payment. Adaku thought quickly. A yearly festival, honoring those taken by the river. We will make offerings and teach our children to respect the old ways. And, she hesitated, knowing the weight of her next words. Those responsible for the initial desecration will face justice, both human and spiritual. As if summoned by her words, a figure materialized in the water beside them. Adaku gasped as she recognized Emeka, his eyes wide with terror. You! The Mami Wata hissed, turning its fearsome gaze on the trembling man. You who spoke honeyed lies and brought poison to my waters, do you offer yourself as payment for your crimes? Emeka's voice shook as he replied, I do. I see now the damage we've caused. If my life can help make amends, then take it. Adaku intervened quickly. Great Spirit, his death alone won't solve anything, but his knowledge and influence can help undo the damage. Let him live to make restitution. The Mami Wata seemed to consider this, its massive form coiling around them both. Very well, I will spare his life, but he will bear my mark. Should he ever break faith again, his soul is forfeit. With lightning speed, the spirit's hand shot out, leaving a glowing symbol etched into Emeka's forehead. The man cried out in pain, but the mark faded, invisible to all but those with the sight to see it. Turning back to Adaku, the Mami Wata's voice took on a solemn tone. You have shown wisdom beyond your years, child of two worlds. I accept your proposal, but know this. The pact we forged today is binding not just on you, but on your descendants. For as long as your bloodline endures, you will be guardians of the balance. Adaku nodded, feeling the weight of generations yet unborn settling on her shoulders. I understand and accept this responsibility. The water around them began to glow intensely as the Mami Wata raised its arms. Then let it be so. By water, blood and spirit, this pact is sealed. A searing pain shot through Adaku's body as mystical energy coursed through her. She felt something fundamental shift within her, as if a dormant part of her soul had awakened. As the glow faded, the Mami Wata's form began to dissolve into the water around them. Its voice echoed one last time. Remember, Bridgekeeper, I will be watching. With a violent surge, Adaku and Emeka found themselves propelled towards the surface. They broke through with a splash, gasping for air as they crawled onto the riverbank. The villagers rushed forward, Mama Diya at the forefront. Adaku, what happened? Are you all right? Adaku looked up, her eyes shining with an otherworldly light that gradually faded. It's done, she said softly. A pact has been made. As dawn broke over Oloibiri, casting golden light across the now calm river, Adaku knew that nothing would ever be the same. The path ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in years, there was hope for a future where the old and new could coexist in harmony. But deep in the river, ancient eyes watched and waited, ready to unleash their wrath should the pact ever be broken.